What's up YouTube? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking and we're going to be showing how to install tmux and how to use tmux. So you can use this with Golang, obviously not with Golang with any programming language, but since I've been doing this series about Golang, of course, then you can also use it with Golang. You should be able to go between different panes. You should be able to split panes. You should be able to run different processes. I'm going to kill my session, and you should be able to reopen your session whenever you want and have your different windows and whatnot. So let's go step by step. The first thing that I'm going to show you guys is how to install tmux, of course. So what I'm going to do is the following. I'm actually going to delete my setup. So I have my dotfiles here. I'm gonna go here and I'm going to eliminate everything. And do not worry, I'll just revert this in a second, so it should be fine. But when I exit, then I actually want to kill the whole session. Okay, so if I do tmux, there you go. So this is what tmux looks like when you install it. And I honestly don't love normal tmux because I think it's Control A or Control B. So Control B, kill session. Okay, so that's how you go. That's how you exit. I don't really like the way that default tmux is set up, but that's the way it looks. So in order to install tmux for macOS, you just do brew install and you do tmux. I already installed this, so I'm not going to do it again. If you're on Linux, you do sudo, I think it's sudo apt. Let me check my notes. Yeah, sudo apt update, and then you do sudo apt install tmux. So very simple. If you have Windows, I believe the only option that you have is installing Windows subsystem Linux, and then keep on going as if you were doing the Linux install. Yeah, I don't think you have tmux for PowerShell. I may be wrong, but I don't think so. So that's the first step. The second step is the following. So whenever you start using tmux, you're gonna see this simple way of using tmux. Let me see if I can split. Oh, Control B actually. So okay, never mind. So I've almost never used the default setup. I think you could do like split and split window. So you could do like horizontal, I believe. Yeah, I don't know. I don't love it. So I'm gonna show you guys straight away how to set up your tmux to make it look nice, how I have it, and also have all those key bindings. So I'm just gonna kill the session here. And let's say that you don't have anything, you haven't used tmux before, you don't have anything set up. The first thing would be creating a .files working directory, and this is in order for you to be able to save your configuration, have a Git repo, and host it on GitHub or wherever you want to host it, and that way you are able to modify it as you wish. So I already have this directory, so I'm gonna go to my .files directory, and as you can see, since I just changed it meanwhile I was recording this, yeah, well, that's why I have like the X. So obviously you guys would be creating a tmux.conf file, which would be empty. In my case, it still will show empty, but obviously we'll start adding things here. Let me see if I can do restore. Damn, it's just because I don't have the. Let me see, I can just split. So let's Control B the default. Oh, I'm not using tmux. Let me exit mvim and let me exit this. Let me see if I can do just tmux 1 2 3 4 5 maybe. cd dotfiles. Okay, now I can do Control B, split window. Okay, there you go. So yeah, not okay. This is annoying. This is annoying me. I don't know the defaults. I don't want to look at the defaults. So what I'm gonna do is the following. I'm gonna go into my dotfiles and just restore. You guys just write things as if you know, as you see my configuration. So I'm just going to do git restore, and then I'm going to restore the tmux config. So now I'm just gonna exit and then. So now we should see that, and in order for to see the tmux, I believe, let's see if I can do Control BR or Control B reload, recover, reload. Okay, no. I know for a fact that if I kill the session, so Control B semicolon kill session, yes. Okay, now if I do tmux, my whole configuration comes back to life. So that's fine. Dotfiles tmux. There you go. So what I'm going to do, rather than show you like, oh, let's write this step by step, I'm going to show you what I have. I'm going to explain what each of these things do. I'm going to show you how to use them, how you can find this useful, and then I'm going to show you how to create your own shell script. So for example, if I go into and then I'm trying to think of something on my soccer projects, meetings. So this is a project that I'm working, but essentially this, as you can see, is a shell script that opens a tmux session called dev, and I'll show you step by step what all of these lines do. But whenever I use that shell, it opens my project, it opens multiple projects, multiple windows, runs processes, and I just have to execute the shell. So it's really nice to have that. But anyway, without digressing, so tmux.conf, so that's also something cool that you can do with tmux. You can rename windows. Okay, so let's start. So your source file obviously is going to be the tmux.conf. Now, because we just created our dot files and you guys created, should be having this empty. I'm gonna put alt so I can maybe follow. Let's see. Okay, so I'm gonna do alt so you can like follow step by step, I guess. Yeah, I did anyway. Okay, which is also something cool. As you can see, you can split the panes. So we're gonna have the general setup. Here I like to put, don't forget to clone this first. So what this is the GitHub repo in order for you to be able to have plugins into your tmux configuration. We don't necessarily have to do this first, but it's something that it's useful to have if you want to have different plugins in addition to whatever tmux provides out of the box. So we can go ahead and do this. I already have this, but I'm gonna show you where we can get this. So what was it? GitHub.com tmux plugins tpm. So essentially, you know, I believe this is public, so you should be able to clone it with HTTPS. So whenever you clone it, essentially you are adding the functionality of tmux packing manager. So I'm not going to clone it, but literally you can copy paste this, and what this is doing is saving plugins into this directory. Now, as you can see, this is going into the home directory. So you may say, like, hold on a second, didn't we just put our tmux I'll just write it. Didn't we just put our tmux config here, right? Like, don't we have lsla? Don't we have tmux alt, which is the one you're showing, and tmux config there? Like, what's going on? Why aren't we, you know, putting the tmux config right here? Well, we could, but as I mentioned in the beginning, whenever you create your directory .files, you're able to create a GitHub repo without exposing everything that's in your home directory, which is very important. So one way that you can accomplish that is by doing the following command. So you're going to point to your now created .tmux.conf file, and that is going to be pointing to what would be the .tmux.conf in the home directory. What does that mean? So ln, you're creating a link, so that's what ln stands for. -s is a flag for symbolic, and what that means is that your existing .tmux config on the .files directory is going to be pointing to the .tmux.conf. Why is that? That is because whenever we install tmux with brew or with sudo, the tmux program expects the file to be in this path. So that is why we are creating that link. So essentially what it does is whenever tmux tries to get that .tmux.conf on the home path, the symbolic file, or sorry, the symbolic link is going to say like, oh, let me give you that file that is actually in this link. And that is essentially why we use the symbolic link, and we can create a GitHub repo without exposing other important stuff that we may not want to expose. But whenever you do the git clone, you want to save this in the home directory path. So I'm gonna leave this actually in my GitHub repo, so it's very easy to, you guys can just copy paste, that easy. And the source file is gonna be here. Again, this has symbolic link, so again, it's gonna like pick up the path from .file, so no problem. So now, let me go to my notes to see that I'm not missing anything. Okay, so this essentially are just set up for terminal callers. This enables you to have like all the available, it's not all the available colors, but I remember like playing with this, and you know, you can Google, look in Stack Overflow. Essentially, like, this setup will allow you to have more color display within the terminal when using tmux. So this is why you can set this up. There's a lot of variations on how to set this up. Last time that I did this was like maybe a year ago, so maybe this changed. But basically, whenever you're putting this, know that this is in order to have the full possibility of color display on tmux. Okay, so now let's go ahead and let's start with the prefix. So set globe prefix Control A. So by default, tmux comes with Control B, which I don't like. I like Control A, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. So I've used the caps lock. I don't use the cap locks at all, not even for SQL. So what I did is that I have carabiner, or yeah, carabiner. I don't know how you call this in English, carabiner. But essentially what I have is I mapped my caps lock to control. So I just type caps lock A, and that would be essentially my control A. So yeah, I have control mapped to caps lock. So that's one thing. Pane splitting. So whenever you do pane splitting, as you saw me here, I'm gonna exit. So what I do is Control A and I type I. So the way that I like to see it is I is vertical, and then I have view, which I have it mapped to horizontal, so you can split like that. For me, it's in a really easy way to remember pane splitting, but you can map it to whatever you want. As you can see, the percentage and the double quotes, I think that's the default. I don't remember it. Only when I reconfigure this is when I remember what these things did by default. So I like to remap. To me, it's just more comfortable using I and U. But again, feel free to set it up to whatever you want. And if you don't have this current path or pane current path, whenever you split, it goes back to the home directory. So I just added that in order to have whatever I have in this pane to also appear here. So it's just more efficient in my opinion. Resize. So I think that is really freaking cool. And the resized amounts are by 5 units, which is not a lot. So I bind R, so I do Control A, and then with J, which is kind of like the Vim movements. If I have a pane like this, K goes up, J goes down, L right, H left. By resense pane. Oh yeah, so if you do Control A, it only focuses on the pane that you are at, and puts all the other panes away. If you do Control M again, they come back. So it's really useful to, like, I guess, focus. You have mouse on, so essentially I can use my mouse. So I'm using my mouse to scroll. I rarely use it, but it's always good to have that option. Set Windows option mode keys VI. So I have this for copy mode, but honestly, I use other type of copying. So what I do is Control A and I use the square brackets. So that's how I copy. I don't know if you see that highlighting, which this is different from Vim, by the way. So this is Vim, and let me see if I can show you guys. So as you can see clear, echo, that pane is not Vim, right? The right pane that I'm in. Yet I can copy and I can paste, and that is done with Control A square bracket, like the opening one, and I paste with Control A the closing square bracket. And you have V. So if I do Control square bracket, Control A opening square bracket, and then I do V, so I can select that. Or if I do Control V for like code block, I can copy like that. So I just press enter, and then I can paste with Control A closing square bracket, And if I typed it correctly, there you go. So this is useful in case you want to like copy between different windows, because obviously, as you know, if you have probably I want to close one of this later. If you have you know, multiple windows, different Vim instances, whatever you copy on Vim is not gonna, you know, pass over to another window. Makes sense. So that's why you have that tmux copy, which is very useful. What am I? Oh, the alt. Okay, just making sure. Okay. So there's just status updates from NeoVim. That's fine. Control C. Okay. Edit anyway. Let's just continue. Okay. So I have mouse. I have the copying. Mouse drag. That means that you can copy with mouse drag. Could be useful. So set the status position bar at the top. That's essentially like you have like your tmux bar. I have it at the top. Let me see. Yeah, that's essentially it. Now what I'm gonna do here is start creating my my tmux plugin declarations. So Chris Toomey Vim tmux navigator, essentially, I don't know if you've noticed, but I was able to go between pages very easily. This is because of this plugin. So kind of like in Vim. So if I go here and I'm gonna close this, and I don't know, let's go into a project so you guys can see. Which, by the way, this is a work in progress. So whatever. I just want to show you guys. What am I doing? Well, yeah, this is actually a good scenario. So I would probably open a Vim window rather than a tmux window, because these are kind of running separate. So here I can, you know, I can be opening something completely different. So if it's something non-related, but let's say that I want to, like, I don't know, check something out, I don't know, whatever, just for the sake of the example, then I can have them side by side, and still with you know, with L I go left, with H I go right. If I have, you know, if I do Control A U, now I'm splitting horizontally, up and down. I can do it with JK. So these are like the key mappings. Now check out how I have this window open. As you can see, this navigation, which you know, I had to learn on my own, you do it with Control A P to go backwards and Control N to go forwards. To create a new window, you do Control A C. To delete the window, you can do Control A X, so you kill the pane, or you can do exit, it'll do the same. So I'm gonna create like 5. So before, what I used to do is do Control P to go, like, you know, all the way between projects, and Control N to go like forwards. But something cool that you can do is do Control A0 or Control A2, Control A3. And these are things that I've discovered with time. So I don't know, I think it's cool that you guys get this these tricks. Also, you know, if you're a little bit OCD and you want to rename your windows, you can do Control A comma. So this is my tmux configuration. Oh, so now I have both. Wait. So I can name this React example. So now I know that in my Windows 0 I have a React project and go. And then on my window 1 I have you know, the tmux file. So, you know, that's something cool before I keep on going with the other stuff. Renumber windows whenever you want to, like, let's say if you don't have the renumber windows, if I would do exit, before it would say like 013 rather than 012. So renumber windows is just a nice way of, you know, telling tmux to make the windows consecutive rather than having like a you know, one off between windows. So that is one thing that I think it's cool, looks good using this right here. So as you can see, this is the end of the general setup. Now we have the Capuchin specific setup. This right here is the background that I like, that I have in my NeoVim theme. So it's not Groovebox anymore. Actually, it's kind of like a mix between Groovebox and Capuchin. So what am I doing? mvim config NeoVim. So I'm just gonna show you guys what I have in my theme so you can see. Okay, so I mean they have to match. So it's this one right here. That's the way I like tmux to be, right? Because I want the same theme as my NeoVim. Yeah. So, you know, in case you're wondering why do I have this specifically, but if you have just Capuchin out of the box, I don't think you really need to do this. But if you have something custom, then just know that you can do that. And also at the top, so right now the theme is exactly the same, but if I comment this out, then you would see like a line of different background color here, where I have like my windows, my the directory name and the time and all that stuff. So that's why I have that there. So Capuchin top window feels like, so you see this like semicircles. So those are I wouldn't say emojis. I don't know how to call them. I guess they're like emojis. Anyway, this is what you see right here, which makes the pill-like shape. And you also need like this square in order to separate the pill from like the you know, the wording here. So this also needed. So window number position to the right, then you have window default fill. You know, this, why do I have this right here? Windows zoom flag. This one I'm not sure why I use it. I may comment this out, but I don't want my setup to break. If it works, I'm sure I have it for a reason. Let me see in my notes if I wrote something. Nope. So I guess I can delete this, but you know, you guys can play around and see what this does, and you know, if you comment it out and it doesn't do anything, just delete it. That's what I would do. But I don't want to explore right now. I just want you guys to get through this somewhat fast, but also me explain. So we think Capuchin tmux plugin modules to the right. So this one's, I just have directory and datetime. Why? Because I like to keep it clean. I found out that the more stuff that you have, the more crowded it gets, and I just don't like the look of it, so I just like to keep it clean. But you can Google and you can put modules here, which I don't know, you can put temperature, you can put whatever here, and they'll start appearing here on the right. You can put full path, I believe. So yeah, that's something that you can do. So module session to the left. So here I have my session. So here my session is 0 because I didn't name my session. But you'll see right now in a bit, once we go through this, how you can name your sessions. Not that it's like something super useful to name them, but I'll also show you guys what you can do with sessions, which I haven't really gone in depth, but we'll get there. So status left separator, so same thing. So have status load separator starter window. So this is window and then this is status. So this is probably like for the session, and this is for the statuses. Yep, that's all I can think of. Status inverse, no. Again, I don't recall this, but there's like a lot of UI. So comment them out and see what changes, and if you like them, like if you like the way it looks, leave it. If you don't, you can get rid of it. Get picture instead of fill icon. So I believe it's for these icons to display. I believe that's what this is for. Could put in status connect separator. No, again, same thing. You guys explore. Change current path to only show current. Because I believe there's full path, which I didn't like to show full path. So I believe that this is. Let's see if I can comment this out. Because I don't want to be like inventing. This is for the hour, so this for sure I know is to exclusively show you know, this hour format. But so let me kill the session. tmux cd dotfiles. No, okay. Yeah. No, I don't recall. Maybe here. Nope. Okay, so I'm not sure. I'll probably delete that then. I'll leave this here for now, just for the sake of the tutorial. And the last thing that is very important is to make sure that this goes at the end, because essentially this is going to be running the plugins for tmux. So that's it. That's literally it. And I believe that this is also, where is this? What is it? tmux back manager. Like it should say like how to set it up. So git clone, just as I showed you guys. Put this at the bottom. Works too. There you go. So same thing as I did. So list of plugins. You have that. Like this is the most important thing. Put this at the end. That's it. Type this in terminal if tmux is already running. Yeah. So honestly, you know, I think I showed you guys most of what I like to do. So the key bindings prefix was so if you do this, installs new plugins, prefix. So this is capital I. It's not just lowercase I, which I with lowercase I have the split. So you can read this, but you know what I have here is very comprehensive. So now what you guys have seen, I'm going to show you the following. Let's say that you know, I'm going to go through some Golang stuff. So I can create a new window with Control A, lowercase c. That's a new window. I'm going to rename it Control A, comma. I'm going to put Golang. So documents go, let's say coffee API version 2. I don't know. So I go into Vim. So now I wanna, that's a split, that's horizontal split, which I did Control A U. So now I can do Control A I. So now I do a vertical split. So I can go into the client here, and I can go here into the server, and then I have this split, and I also have my NeoVim here. So let's say that I want to go into my main.go. There you go. And I can use tmux, but to be honest here, I would just use Vim. This is the Vim split, which is just Control WV. But here, let's say I go to page. Did I create more stuff? Oh, I have, this is something that I want to do. I want to do the front end, which is something I need to continue. But anyway, that's how you guys can use tmux. You can do Control AC to create a new one, Control N to navigate, Control P to navigate back. Control A X to delete one. What else do we have before I go into the session stuff? You have the control copy. If you do Control A, opening square bracket, you enter into like this copy mode. So that's tmux, that's not vim. If I press enter, I can go here and copy this. And you know, funny thing is that if you enter into this mode, you can even copy this right here. You can copy like these characters, which I think is pretty cool. And you exit out with Control C, by the way. So again, Control A, V for visual mode. You press enter to, and there you go. And you can tell you're in tmux copy mode because you can see this right here. And that disappears. So again, we're in copy mode. I press enter, and I can copy here with Control A. I can paste here with Control A, closing square bracket, which later can be really useful. And by the way, so sometimes what I do, let's say that I have an error or whatnot, I do Control A, opening square bracket. Let's say that I want to Google that. I press enter, and I do tmux show b for show buffers, and that I pipe into a clip copy. So now if I do Control V, now I have that in my clipboard. Is it cumbersome? Sure. There's probably a binding that you can do in your tmux config, but this will work. So I believe that's like one of the main things that you can do with tmux. And let's see, how long have I? 36. Okay, so it's been 36 minutes. Okay, so we've gone through the majority of the things. So this I can put tmux. So you know, also let's say you know, I already explained this too, but if you do Control A1, you go exactly to the Golang window. If you do Control A3, you go exactly to the third index window. So yeah. Now, lastly, you have sessions here. Why? So I know that in the beginning, when you start using tmux, you're like, I have windows. Why do I want sessions? It makes no sense whatsoever. This is why. So right now we have only one session, which has no name, and you know, it's just called 0. That's our session. So let's say that in this session I'm showing tmux and Golang. So I'm gonna do Control A D. So that's, as you can see here, it says detached. So by detached, I mean you are out of tmux, but your session is not destroyed. Like, that's still saved, and you can go back by doing tmux attach. So everything is just as it was. And if you do Control A S, so again, Control A S, you're gonna see multiple sessions. Right now I only have one. Which there must be a way to create in a new session. So Control A, new session. Yeah, and I'm gonna call this example. Ooh, just kidding. Okay. Tmux attach. Let's see if I have example. No. Or I can do tmux session. This session. List sessions. 2 windows. Okay, so I only have one session. Tmux session example. Tmux. Damn, I forgot how to do this. Create new tmux session from terminal. Control B new. Yeah, but that's not what I'm looking for. I want to do it like without being inside of tmux. Tmux switch. Nope. tmux new session. There you go. That's what I'm looking for. So tmux new session, and then what was it? So the name is, I'm gonna put example. Now you see how here I have example. That's why I have like the plugin that I show you guys to put the name of the session. So I'm gonna do tmux. Actually no, not tmux detach. So Control A D, that detaches it. Now I'm gonna create another session. So new session as Golang. So I don't know. Let's say that I want to do Go serverless stuff. So if I do Control A S, your sessions are gonna be comprised of totally different things, and these are like workspaces that you can easily switch. They're like here, okay, I'm showing tmux and Golang, and then you go into session 2. Oh, here, I don't know, I'm gonna be showing, I don't know, Python. I don't know, whatever. I have my lead code Python repo too. So then you go into, you know, exclusive Golang AWS stuff. So there you go. Anyway, so that's why sessions are important, because you can have completely different stuff in each session. And you don't have to be, oh, let me create another window, and then in the window let me like you know, split a pane, split another pane. Like you know, splitting panes and having windows is useful. And let's say that in you have your working session. So whenever you go to work, you have, let's say, 2 projects with different panes, different windows, running different processes. And you can also have your personal session, where in your personal session you have another completely different project with 3 different windows and 3 other different processes. That's why having sessions is useful. So now if you go here and if you press X, so I'm gonna close that one. By the way, once you I know there's a way to kill sessions without killing the whole thing. Kill session 4, yes. Okay. Oh, that's the anonymous one. Yes. So this is my current session that I'm at. There's a way to like switch, but I forget. Anyway, we don't want to kill the 0 one because that's where I have my tmux stuff. So I'll kill this one and I'll just do tmux attach. And since we only have one, it'll go to the only one that we have, which is the 0th. There must be a rename session. Rename. Okay, whatever, probably not. It's fine. Anyway, so now you've seen how expansive can tmux be and why tmux is good. Not to mention that you can, you know, have your kind of like terminal pane, kind of like in VS Code, which I really like. So that is what tmux can do. Now, the last thing that I'm going to show you guys is how to create your shell files, so you can create your different sessions with like such a breeze. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quit all. Let me remove the alt one. So remove the git status. I mean git restore all. Untracked files. Git. Well, actually, just remove tmux.conf. There you go. All good as new. There you go. So now I can go here and I just will kill everything. Kill the pane. So, oh, by the way, you can do Control A ampersand and you will kill the whole window rather than just the pane. So that can be useful if you have like 4 splits and you don't want to do exit one by one. So I'm just gonna go into my home directory. So I'm gonna create a mvim.example example.shell, and so that's why tmux is very useful. I can just do this. I could have probably used NeoVim Windows Split 2, but I'm just gonna do this. So here I'm definitely going to like support myself from like a pre-existing shell script, but because I don't know this by memory. But hopefully you guys can you know, get some ideas from here. So you set your vim bash declaration there. You want to create a new tmux session. So just like we did prior, we do tmux new session -d. This is detached, meaning if we don't do like this attached that we have right here, you won't start the session right away. The S is to name the session, so we can name this, I don't know, I'm just gonna call this React, just to have something different. Then tmux, the window where the session will appear currently has no name, so I think the default is either neovim or tmux, I'm not sure. So we're going to rename the window, and I'm gonna call this React. Now notice that this is we're doing React Windows 0, and because that's the name of the session, and we're going to rename the window to, I don't know, front end. Actually, React is very like front end specific, so let's change this to soccer app. So soccer app. By the way, if you're very OCD, you can also do session equal, and I can name it soccer app. So here, rather than like retyping soccer app all the time, you can just do session. So and same thing for the windows or for the project path. Actually, this will be useful. I'm actually gonna steal this. So this is gonna be, oh, so notice how I cannot paste between different panes. So that's why I can do Control A, open it bracket, then I select everything, enter. Now here I can do Control A, closing bracket. So that's why it's useful. Anyway, so I have those two variables there that I can use now, but I'm not gonna go crazy. By the way, I did Control O to go back with my cursor. So here what I'm going to do is rename this to client. So what I'm going to do is, now that I have the window, so here in tmux, essentially what I did is the same thing. That's literally what this line is doing. Now I want to go into that directory, the one that you see that says project 1 working directory. So tmux send keys -t. I would be lying if I know exactly what T does. Maybe stand for terminal, not sure, but I know that this is essentially to execute commands. So what I'm going to do is type this session. So my session, which is the soccer app, then I'm going to refer to my window, which is the client window. And since I only have one window, then I would put 0. The session name, the name of the window, which currently I have client, and then the pane, which, you know, the one that I'm writing this is the pane 0, and this pane is pane index 1. Now what I'm trying to do is whenever I create this new session, rather than this 0, you're gonna see soccer app here, right? But that's in a new one, not in this one. Whenever I, you know, create this, rather than seeing clients, you will see, actually I did put clients, and I can actually also change this to session. Yeah, so we can put client there. And then here I'm just saying like, oh, make sure that you're specifying, make sure that you're executing the command in the first pane or pane 0th. Into the project 1 working directory. And then you have to like, essentially if you don't put c-m, these won't execute. Soccer client. There you go. We can also do splits. Actually, let's kind of like follow what I have here, and this just so you guys can see. Here I'm just gonna go into the working directory. So let's put here name session and name first or 0th window. Go to working directory. Then here split horizontally. So here what I'm going to do is well, I'll write it and then I'll copy paste, but because I'm gonna use actually the same project, split window -t. So I'm gonna use the session so we don't have to rewrite sock app all the time. This is gonna be my client.0 window. I'm gonna split this vertically with a length of 10%. And then once I have that split, I actually will copy this. And remember that you do Control A, opening bracket, enter, Control A, closing bracket. So what this is going to do is create a new window. So notice how, and I'm going to call this client. Notice how now I have the 1. Sorry, no, I'm not going to create a new, and actually it's a pane, not a window. So by doing the split window, I'm going to create a new pane. So now we have 2 panes. We have the pane 0th and the pane 1. And because this is a vertical split, it will actually be something like that, right? So that's how it will look. And essentially what this is saying is go to pane 1, which would be like that, and execute this command, which is go into this path and also go into the, you know, where I have the front end, which is in the soccer client, and then do the CM. Again, if you don't have the CM, which I believe is just like execute, the command will not work. What this is going to do is this is going to go into the same path but into the client. Now what we want to do is kind of like, you know, for now disregard this part. I'm actually going to push that right there. So imagine, and you'll see this right now, but imagine that what we have right here basically puts us in the client, and now we want to go into the server. So what we have to do is do another split. So split vertically, and I know that I'm being very thorough, but I think this will be very useful for you guys to create your own shell scripts to have your own sessions. Anyway, so now I'm going to split, and I want to split the bottom pane, which is this one, and I want to split that vertically, sorry, horizontally, yeah, horizontally, and I want to do a length 50%. Let me see what I have here. Split horizontally, split vertically. Okay, I guess I don't have to declare a length, it just does the 50 by default. And then I want to do the following, I mean the same thing, just go into the project, but instead of client, I'm going to go into the server. Something that you can do, and by the way, when we do the split, there's going to be a third pane, right? Because we have the one that I'm at, 1, 2 for the client, 3 for the server, and this one disregard. So that's why we put here as a 2. I'm gonna leave like that. Now, here in the first, rather than just cd into the project, since we are already in the path that we want, I can do npm run dev, and I can do the same for this npm run dev. So that should work. You can also, you know, if you want to follow this, you can also follow this. I don't mind. You know, you can pause this, copy what I have, and have your own stuff. Now, if you want to create a second window, then you do tmux new window t. You have to refer to the pre-existing session. So the one would be like the new window, and you can rename the window. So tmux rename window, and let's say that I want to go into so session 1. Actually, show tmux. And then I would do, you know, go to the path. So tmux send keys t session. Now the window that I call show tmux dot 0, I would do cd into dotfiles, and I can do nvim. And very important not to forget that. And I'm gonna leave it like that, just to keep it simple. So I'll close this. So I'm gonna save this. So now also I'm gonna exit out of here, exit. So now I'm gonna do cat example. Okay, it's example.sh. Now, as you can see, these ones are green, but not the example. That means because currently, if we try to execute example, it says permission denied. So we just do change modify, and we want to add an execution permission to the example file. So now when we do example, you see how now this is green? It's because we have execution permission. And you know, literally, if you guys want to see like what are the different possibilities to change or modify the permissions on a file, go Google that. But now we can do, well, actually, let's do the following. I'm gonna do Control S to list all the sessions. I'm gonna press X to kill it. Yes. So now here where I'm not in Vim or I'm not in tmux, I'm gonna do example. Oh, tmux attach session is just this, by the way. So that's how you actually go inside of the session. Otherwise, you don't get to see anything, not even errors. Okay, so let's go line by line. This is fine, this is fine. CD, aha. That's why. And I think the coloring should have been a giveaway. So I had single quotes. If you don't use double quotes, you'll get an error. All right, so probably I didn't. And then example. And then env TypeScript. Oh, duh. Okay. Okay. So there's one less error. technically I can do an npm run dev here, and I can get rid of this. I see what the error was here. The split was not happening because I didn't have this dash. So if you guys saw it like ages ago, then you probably figured out what was going on. But this should be good enough. So let's get rid of this session. I'm gonna do example. Okay, so this one shows, there you go. So as you can see, I just opened my tmux, and well, this is just my Vim, but you know, I have my Vim open here. I have my backend already running, my frontend already running. I can go into another window, and that is a session. So if I go into Control AS, I have sock wrap. Now I can do Control AD, so I detached. I can just launch another session, so I can do env, I don't know, let's do something somewhat different. Okay, so the meetings one. So I don't know if you see, but this is my Golang stuff. There's another like React stuff that I'm working with. So here, look how I have my Golang database running in port 8080, my frontend in 3001, and then you know, here I'm looking at some React stuff. Here I'm looking at some Golang stuff at vanilla code, which I haven't continued, to be honest. And then I can just change sessions, and now I'm back at the tmux, and I'm running my other application in port 4000 and my frontend in port 3000. So that's how you can use sessions in Windows, and it's really nice. You can, you know, completely change context with the sessions, and that's what's really powerful about tmux. Also, let's say that you know, oh damn, I forgot about that. The computer ran out of battery. What am I gonna do? So you can easily just do tmux attach, and there you go, I'm back. And not only that, I have my 2 sessions, not the one only that I was working at, but 2 sessions. So that is really cool, and that is something that you can use and leverage, create more sessions, you know, for your use, for your work, for your different projects. And you know, you can complete context completely from one project to the other. You know, I don't know, like I have my React there, I have my Go there, then you know, I have here my other React stuff, I have tmux stuff, and yeah. So hopefully, I wanted to make this shorter, but I think the more in depth I go, the more you guys are going to benefit, and you're gonna get more out of this, with all the tricks, all the explanations. Why are these things useful? Because I remember knowing about sessions, I was like, what's the deal with sessions? I don't see the usefulness. Or you know, how the hell do I use Windows? How can I use panes? How can I navigate through panes, etc., etc. So again, hopefully you guys like this video and you learned something from this, and I definitely have to make more videos about Go and React. I have something in the works, and probably you already saw a preview. I'm trying to make a, you know, trying to make something, you'll see. But also I'm gonna post stuff on YouTube first. And but yeah, if you like it, give a like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.